Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a very special episode of ezBUCKETz. How you guys doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. In today's video, I got something that I guarantee you guys are gonna love, especially if you're a Lakers fan. We just got some crazy news that LaMarcus Aldridge of the San Antonio Spurs will no longer be playing with the team. And right now, we're talking about the biggest rumors, the Lakers might just be interested. The Lakers right now are in need of a front court player, and with LaMarcus Aldridge being the newest available, people are believing that LaMarcus Aldridge, wants to go to LA, Los Angeles. For this video, we're going to be talking about how it could happen, is it realistic, and is it a good fit? And then we're also going to be talking about other teams that I believe that should target LaMarcus Aldridge. So if you're an Aldridge fan, you're gonna like this. But quickly, before I get on with the video, I just want to say, if you're new to the channel and you love basketball, welcome to ezBUCKETz. My name is Soom, and I make basketball videos every single day. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications to not miss any of my upcoming videos. If you watched this video and you loved it, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. I would really appreciate it. It would help out the channel a lot. But without wasting any more time, let's talk about LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus is not with the team. He's healthy in that respect, but we've mutually agreed to work on some opportunities for him, and that'll be elsewhere. So he won't be with the team moving forward. He's been a great teammate. There's no problem there. We just think this is a win-win for both LaMarcus and for the club. So when an opportunity arises, that'll be up to management, his agent, that sort of thing, and we'll all move forward.
LaMarcus Aldridge being available is big news for NBA teams that are competing for an NBA championship this year. With the NBA trade deadline coming up, which is on March 25th, and with so many NBA teams in scrambles to get a dominant frontcourt player, imagine getting a veteran, a proven all-star. Yesterday on March 10th, we got this crazy news from Shams that the Spurs and LaMarcus Aldridge have mutually agreed to part ways and are working on a resolution, Coach Gregg Popovich says, as I just showed you guys in a quick interview video. This year so far, we've gotten so many news and tweets like this when it came to Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin, teams that are being nice to the player are trying to put them in the best situation possible, and the Spurs are doing the exact same thing. But there is one major difference about LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin, and I want you guys to know this. LaMarcus Aldridge is more likely to be traded than to be bought out. Adrian Woj tweets this: there's a level of confidence that a trade partner will be found for Aldridge, perhaps even in the next week, and no movement towards a contract buyout, sources tell ESPN. From this tweet alone, the Spurs have a lot of interest in the NBA, and teams want LaMarcus Aldridge, and they're not going to wait for him to be bought out. LaMarcus Aldridge this year is 35 years old, and he has played a total of 5 seasons with the San Antonio Spurs. He is currently on an expiring contract of about $24 million. I'm gonna be honest, that's affordable. He's a 7-time All-Star, and what Gregg Popovich just said in that interview, he is healthy, he's ready to go, and ready to contribute to a championship contender, and so many teams want LaMarcus. But I'm gonna be honest, I kind of question why the Spurs are parting ways with Aldridge, because the Spurs are kind of in playoff contention right now. They have a record of 18-15, which ranks them as the 7th seed in the Western Conference, and with the Spurs being good, I'm surprised they're letting go of their second best player behind DeMar DeRozan. But of course, there are other ways to look at it. LaMarcus Aldridge is getting older, they want to give more minutes to Jakob Poeltl, and over the beginning of the season, he's been hit with so many injuries that has made him kind of useless, so that's why right now I understand why they're going this route. So far this year, Aldridge is kind of having a letdown season. He's only averaging about 13.7 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 0.4 steals, and 0.9 blocks, compared to last year where he averaged about 19 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 0.7 steals, and 1.6 blocks. LaMarcus Aldridge has definitely took a decline in this season. And with the Spurs right now being in hot pursuit of the NBA playoffs, they want maybe a young player or a future asset instead of losing LaMarcus Aldridge for nothing in this upcoming offseason, which is definitely likely. Aldridge is not going to resign. He even said that himself. And that's why for this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 NBA teams that I believe should target LaMarcus Aldridge, because it makes sense. It helps that team. The first team on this list is the Los Angeles Lakers, and of course I'm going to mention them because the Lakers right now are one of the most active teams when it comes to getting a front court player. The Lakers this year have a record of 24-13, which ranks them as the 3rd seed in the Western Conference, and if the Lakers want to be the best and win the NBA championship and defend their title, they need somebody, an all-star caliber player like LaMarcus. After the Brooklyn Nets got Blake Griffin, the Nets are the Lakers' biggest competitors. The Lakers are targeting Aldridge right now because they have to be active and compete with the Brooklyn Nets as the Nets are getting better. The Lakers don't want to sit around and do nothing. And with LaMarcus Aldridge being a player that can play the center position and also be a pretty decent rim protector, he wouldn't be a bad idea for the Lakers. Last year, he averaged 1.6 blocks per game. Playing on the Spurs the past few seasons, his role was kind of a shot creator, a shot maker, but being on the Lakers, LaMarcus won't have to take up a lot of shots. Of course, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis being there, Aldridge can comfortably take a step back in his career and just be a more focal point, impactful role player. And with the Lakers right now reporting that they're unhappy with Marc Gasol and how Marc Gasol is their starting center, they're not happy with that signing, Aldridge, in my opinion, would be a perfect starting center to replace Marc. When it comes to a trade aspect, I do believe the Lakers can offer the Spurs a trade, maybe KCP or a Kyle Kuzma or even a Dennis Schroeder, but in my opinion, I don't want the Lakers to do that. I want the Lakers to get LaMarcus Aldridge on a buyout and give him a veteran's minimum contract. But as Woj stated earlier, they're probably going to try to trade Aldridge as many NBA teams want him. So I believe if the Lakers ultimately want LaMarcus, they're going to have to trade maybe Kuzma and Marc Gasol, or maybe Kuzma and Markieff Morris, somewhere along that line, but I'm not sure. Laker fans, what do you guys think? Should the Lakers make a move when it comes to a trade, or should they hope for a buyout? In my opinion, hoping for a buyout is the best case scenario, but I don't know. I feel like LaMarcus Aldridge will be traded by that time. So for all you Laker fans out there that want to see LaMarcus Aldridge wear the purple and gold, I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of tricky. It's gonna cost some sacrifice when it comes to players, and hoping for a buyout is definitely the best thing we want. Let's just pray for that. But from what we're hearing though, the Lakers are definitely interested, and LaMarcus Aldridge actually have interest in LA. Fun fact to know is that in 2015, when he signed a contract with the Spurs, the Los Angeles Lakers were one of his top options. And right now with them still being NBA championship favorites, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still thinking about them. The next team on this list is the Portland Trail Blazers, and that's LaMarcus Aldridge going back to Damian Lillard, helping them compete for an NBA championship, and of course, retiring with the team that signed him and brought him into the NBA. A few years ago, Damian Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge actually joked around on Twitter saying that Aldridge will come back to the Blazers and retire there. And from what we're thinking so far, this is one of the most realistic situations and something that will most likely happen. The Blazers have a lot of pretty decent trading assets of Rodney Hood, Enes Kanter, even Derrick Jones Jr., and Zach Collins, and with the Spurs looking for young players and potentially a second-round pick for Aldridge, the Blazers might have a package to land LaMarcus to help the Blazers go for a championship run this year. With Damian Lillard being one of the best pick-and-roll maestros and LaMarcus Aldridge being one of the best pick-and-roll players, imagine an MVP caliber Damian Lillard playing with an experienced, established Aldridge. I believe the Blazers team will definitely get better. The only issue with Aldridge going to the Blazers is that he basically plays the same role as Carmelo Anthony, so I'm not sure who would, take a bigger role or take a hit there. But one thing's for sure, if Aldridge can start at the power forward and then Nurkic at the 5, and then Blazers have Dame, CJ, and maybe Covington at the 1, 2, 3, I would love that lineup, no problem. And then have Melo off the bench. That would be awesome. And then the last team on this list that I believe want LaMarcus Aldridge is the Boston Celtics, and that's Aldridge joining Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. When talking about an Eastern Conference team that is heavily pursuing a frontcourt player, the Boston Celtics are at the top of that list because right now Daniel Tice and Tristan Thompson just aren't giving them an offensive punch. The best thing about the Boston Celtics this year, especially when it comes to the NBA trade deadline, they're basically a team that can take on any salary, because in this past offseason, they lost Gordon Hayward, which means they have a total of $28.5 million available when it comes to a trade. So when they're trading a player, they don't have to match salary, they just take on a player. And with Aldridge only having a $24 million contract, they can get Aldridge and still maybe sign another free agent to build up that front court, which in my opinion would be a great idea. Getting Aldridge to go alongside Kemba Walker, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown could bring them more of a veteran presence and a veteran experienced player. We all know Aldridge is a 7-time All-Star and could bring some mentorship to the young guns of Tatum and Brown, who are future superstars. And with LaMarcus Aldridge proven in the past to be an offensive monster, especially in the mid-range and interior, the Boston Celtics want this type of player right now, and Aldridge right now is becoming available. In my opinion, I want to see LaMarcus Aldridge on the Los Angeles Lakers. I want to see the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets have an ultimate showdown in the NBA Finals. So for that fact to come true, let's just hope the Spurs cannot find a trade for LaMarcus, and then they buy him out, and then the Lakers offer him a veteran's minimum contract. That is the best case scenario for the Lakers, but of course the Blazers and the Boston Celtics are also targets that want LaMarcus. I believe Aldridge will be moved within the next few days, maybe 3 to 5 days, so be ready for that. Get ready for that big time news. But then quickly, I also want to talk to you guys about Andre Drummond, who right now in my opinion is and should be the Lakers' #1 priority. When talking with the Cavaliers right now are calling multiple teams to see what they can offer for Andre Drummond. The problem with Andre Drummond is that he's on a very expensive contract of about $30 million, and NBA teams don't believe that trading for him is going to be worth it, as Andre Drummond will be entering free agency as a UFA, which means he can go to any team that he wants, and some NBA teams just don't want to take that gamble. I believe ultimately, if it comes down to it, of LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Drummond both being bought out, Andre Drummond is the #1 option. Don't miss that opportunity. I want this to happen for sure. Andre Drummond, in my opinion, is the best case scenario for the Lakers, especially after the Brooklyn Nets got Blake Griffin. A lot of Laker fans believe that getting LaMarcus Aldridge would bring the exact same problem as Marc Gasol. In my opinion, I don't agree with that, but I do believe it in some little areas. That's why I believe going for a younger player of Andre Drummond, who's a beast in the paint, is the best idea. So ultimately, guys, this wraps up my video today, talking about LaMarcus Aldridge and also talking about Andre Drummond. What's most important to me is one of your thoughts. Do you want to see LaMarcus Aldridge on the Lakers? Should they trade for him or wait for a buyout? Is it a realistic option? Let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section down below. But other than that, take it easy, God bless, and I'll see you all next time on ezBUCKETz. Woo!